She called the cops and yelled, "He's trespassing again. Arrest him." I stood there, holding my coffee, watching 3 HOA members block my own driveway like they owned the place. It started that morning when I went to check my fence line, the same line my grandfather built 50 years ago. But instead of peace and quiet, I found new HOA property no trespassing signs hammered into my trees. The woman leading them, Karen, the self-appointed HOA president, pointed her clipboard at me like it was a weapon. "You can't walk beyond this point," she snapped. "This belongs to the Oak Ridge HOA now." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. "Ma'am, I own this valley, every inch of it." She smirked. "We've redrawn the community lines. This land is now part of our association. You'll need to pay dues and remove that cabin. It violates HOA design standards." That's when her so-called HOA security pulled up. An SUV with magnetic decals reading HOA Patrol. 2 guys jumped out, trying to look official. One of them even had handcuffs hanging from his belt. I kept calm. "You're on private property," I said slowly, making sure my phone camera was recording. "Leave now." Karen crossed her arms. "You'll regret this. We already filed a lawsuit for trespassing. The sheriff will handle you." I smiled faintly. She didn't know. She didn't know who I really was. She didn't know that the sheriff's department reports directly to me, because I'm the one who owns this land and the roads her HOA was built on. I watched them drive away, dust swirling behind their fake patrol car, and whispered to myself, "Let them dig deeper. They're about to find out who really owns Oak Ridge." That afternoon, a white envelope showed up in my mailbox, thick, stamped with urgent legal notice. Karen really did it. She'd filed a lawsuit claiming I was trespassing on my own land. The papers said the HOA now administered the Oak Ridge Valley, and I had violated property access rules. I almost laughed, but the words "court order pending" caught my eye. They were serious. Or at least, they thought they were. By the time I got to town, word had already spread. People whispered in the diner that the guy outside the HOA gate was about to lose his land. Karen had posted about it on the neighborhood Facebook group, bragging that they were enforcing real law. That's when I decided to stop staying quiet. I went to the county recorder's office and pulled the full land registry. It took less than 5 minutes for the clerk to look up and say, "Sir, this can't be right. You own all 26 parcels. Every lot under that HOA is technically yours." I leaned closer. "Every lot?" She nodded slowly. "Even the one with the HOA office." I walked out with a folder full of titles in my hand and a storm in my chest. That night, Karen showed up at my gate again, this time with 2 HOA board members and another fake security officer. They had flashlights, papers, and arrogance. "You were served," she said sharply. "We'll see you in court next week." I stepped closer, calm but firm. "Karen, do yourself a favor and cancel that lawsuit." She smirked. "Oh, scared now?" I shook my head. "No, because by next week, you won't be the one suing. You'll be the one being evicted." For a moment, her smile froze. "Evicted? You can't evict a homeowners association." I looked her right in the eye. "Watch me." As they turned and walked away, their fake security lights fading into the night, I glanced at my phone, still recording. Tomorrow, I'd visit the county court myself, with proof that everything they built, every home, every road, every mailbox, sat right on my land. And this time, it wouldn't be me explaining trespassing. It would be them. The courthouse was packed the next morning, HOA board members on one side, smug and whispering like they'd already won, and me on the other, calm, holding a single folder. Karen strutted in late, wearing a bright blazer like she was walking a runway. She gave me a sarcastic smile. "Hope you brought a good lawyer, farmer boy." I didn't answer. My lawyer, a quiet woman named Grace, leaned toward me and whispered, "They're about to hang themselves." When the judge entered, Karen shot up first. "Your Honor, this man refuses to respect community property rules. He's building fences across HOA land, trespassing daily." The judge raised a hand. "And you are?" "Karen Decker, president of Oak Ridge HOA." He scribbled something, then nodded to Grace. "Defense?" Grace stood up, calm as ever. "Your Honor, before we begin, I'd like to submit Exhibit A, full ownership documentation for Oak Ridge Valley, including the parcels listed under the Plaintiffs' Association." Karen frowned, whispering to her attorney. He snatched the pages and froze mid-breath. The entire courtroom went quiet. Grace continued. "According to county records, my client, Mr. Carter, inherited this property in 2010. The HOA illegally registered themselves on land they don't own, and have been collecting dues from residents for years." Karen's lawyer stammered, That can't be true." The judge turned to Karen. "Did your association verify land ownership before forming?" Karen blinked fast. "We assumed it was part of the community development plan." The judge leaned back, unimpressed. "You assumed wrong." I didn't say a word. I just watched the color drain from her face. Then Grace dropped the final page on the desk, a tax map showing every boundary line highlighted in red. Every home, every park, every inch of the HOA territory. All of it sat on land legally registered to me. Karen's voice cracked. "So you're saying he owns us?" The judge adjusted his glasses. "Legally, yes, and he has the right to evict your organization for trespassing." Gasps filled the room. Karen's hand trembled, gripping her folder. I finally spoke, softly but clear enough for everyone to hear. "I told you, Karen, I don't trespass on my land. You do." The judge banged his gavel. Case dismissed, with prejudice. Karen didn't move. She just stared at me as the truth settled in. But she wasn't done yet, and neither was I. That evening, as the sun sank behind the mountains, I heard engines rumbling down the dirt road again. 3 SUVs pulled up, headlights cutting through the dust. Karen stepped out first, her face pale but burning with anger. Behind her stood the remaining HOA members, and a small group of residents who looked more confused than loyal. She shouted across the fence, "You think you won? You can't evict families. You can't destroy a community." I walked to the gate, hands in my jacket pockets. "Karen, I'm not evicting families. I'm evicting you. The HOA doesn't exist anymore. It never legally did." She tried to wave a stack of papers. "We'll appeal. You can't—" Just then, 2 sheriff cruisers rolled up behind her. The same sheriff she once claimed would handle me stepped out, calm and official. "Ma'am," he said, "by court order, your organization is to cease all operations immediately. You and your board have 24 hours to vacate the HOA office." Her voice cracked. "This is insane. We run this valley." The sheriff looked at me, then back at her. "No, ma'am, he does." Karen's face twisted, the power slipping right out of her voice. "You're making a mistake," she whispered. I stepped closer, my tone steady. "No, Karen, you did, when you tried to steal what wasn't yours." The residents behind her looked at each other. Then one of them stepped forward. "Wait, so we don't have to pay the HOA anymore?" I smiled gently. No more fake fees. You live free, like it was meant to be. The crowd started murmuring, relief mixed with disbelief. A few even clapped. Karen's shoulders sagged as the sheriff guided her toward her car. Before she got in, she turned and glared at me one last time. You'll regret this. I shook my head. No, I just restored what was right. As their cars disappeared into the valley road, I looked out over the quiet homes, the mountains reflecting the orange sky, and breathed for the first time in months. My land was mine again. The valley was free. I walked back to my porch, watching the wind move through the grass, and whispered the words that felt like closure. I didn't fight for this country, to be told I can't stand on my own ground. The camera of my phone caught the last bit, the flag waving behind me, the gate still open. Justice wasn't loud, it was steady. And that night, Oak Ridge finally belonged to its real owner. Not an HOA, not a Karen, but a man who never stopped defending what was his.